So hello and welcome. We have here Leela 0 ID 329 versus GreKo 13.1 again, and we have let them play the Evans Gambit. Leela is white and GreKo is black, and it's GreKo's move. So we probably see bishop takes pawn on b4. Let's see what GreKo is coming up with. Probably accepting the pawn. But we'll see. Yes, GreKo accepts. And now it's Leela's move. We probably see c3. Both engines are playing without book. And we see how Leela is attacking here and how GreKo is defending, or at least trying to defend. Here we have c3 by Leela, and the bishop can go either here to d6, to e7, or to a5. Also bishop f8 is sometimes played, even bishop f8, which is called the Steinitz variation, but I think the main line goes with bishop a5 or bishop c4, or c5, bishop c5 or bishop a5. And we'll see what GreKo will choose. I would probably go bishop a5. I actually don't know. I would probably go bishop c5 here, but I don't know. Yeah, without a book, GreKo needs here a lot of time. But the next move, yeah, here it has to decide either to go to c5 or to a5 probably. I think bishop d6 or e7, maybe e7 even, but bishop f8 is not really a good move, I think. Or bishop to d6 for that matter. Bishop a5, he plays, it plays. And now Leela, it's Leela's move, so I'm already out of book. I would either play d4, and after captures I would capture with the knight. If the knight captures, queen captures, hitting the g7 pawn, so knight f6 probably, and then e5, kicking the knight. The knight goes away, and then I have queen to d4. Yes, okay, we see the move d4. Queen d4 would fork then the bishop on a5, and queen d5 would fork the bishop on a5 and the pawn on f7. But okay, what's next here? Probably e takes d4 all the same, and then I will play knight takes d4. Takes d4. Let's see how Leela is attacking here. GreKo has to take the pawn, I think. Yes. And now either knight takes d4, queen b3 or castles. And castles, pawn takes pawn and queen c. Okay, going immediately for the f7 pawn. That's also good, I think. Now we have queen e7, probably. Queen e7 or queen f6. I would prefer queen e7, but okay. Let's see what we get here in this game. Queen e7, castles probably. Then knight f6 and c takes d4. Maybe, or castles, d takes c3. Knight takes c3, bishop takes c3, queen takes c3, and knight a5, attacking the bishop. Also an option, maybe. I don't know, but black has to be careful in this kind of opening. So GreKo already spends on this move, I think it's the second minute he spends there. And I think queen e7 or queen f6 is necessary. Queen f6 it plays, and now we have probably castles. I would castle in this position. Or maybe bishop g5 is also an option, but castling is always good. So Leela is ahead on time. So what is GreKo doing here? Taking the pawn is one option, of course. Knight takes isn't really possible, but you can push. Maybe push. Yeah, can you push? I don't know. Actually, if pawn takes pawn, then d5 knight takes and rook e1, d6, knight takes, pawn takes f4. Okay, GreKo goes for bishop b6, just defending the pawn, the d pawn. Now, yeah, maybe pushing all the same. e5, knight takes e5, and rook e1 maybe. And then d6, yeah, e5 on the board. Also queen g6 is an option, or queen e7. We'll see what we get. Yeah, most probably queen g6, because otherwise... Yeah, you could also take this pawn. Take, knight takes... Knight takes, and rook... Yeah, rook e1 doesn't work. GreKo already spends lots of time here in the opening. Leela is playing faster, much faster. But okay, GreKo has to find the best defensive moves. Leela can just attack. And let's see what Leela is coming up with here. Yeah, probably queen g6 here. Maybe knight takes. Either knight takes e4, which is kind of e5, which is kind of risky, or queen g6. Yeah, queen g6 we have, and now c takes d4. I will probably play c takes d4. And then after knight takes d4, knight takes. No, not knight takes d4. Don't play knight takes d4. Well, knight takes d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4. Maybe with a rook sacrifice after knight takes g4. Knight takes d4, knight takes d4. Bishop takes d4, attacking the rook. Let's see how Leela, the artificial intelligence, is continuing this attack. Right now it's 1 pawn down, but it will soon be 2 pawns again. But the black's king is still unsafe. The bishop on c8 is still undeveloped. The knight on f6 has not a lot of options. The rook on a8 has not a lot of options, but white also has to bring the bishop out probably to a6 and the knight out probably to c3. But yeah, let's see. Also after knight takes, after knight takes you have to take knight takes. Knight takes d4 is kind of a must, I think. And then, yeah, after bishop takes, the rook in the corner is attacked and the e5 pawn is attacked, so maybe bishop b2, exchanging bishops, but then black is fine, I guess. So probably sacrificing the rook, or at least the exchange. Here bishop takes d4 now. Both engines think they are better, so let's see. GreKo is on minus 0.70, Leela is on 0.49. So we have now bishop takes d4. You can also play this immediately, but because there is no other move really. So bishop takes d4. If you not play bishop takes d4, you're just a piece down, and the attack continues. So bishop takes d4. Attacking the rook is kind of necessary here. Yeah, GreKo is down to 6 minutes and 15 seconds. We should really take the knight, and after... I don't think Leela will play bishop to b2. I think rather knight to c3, which is more in the spirit of the Evans Gambit. So knight c3, bishop takes e5, rook e1. Yeah, and then f5 is threatened, so you cannot... f4 is threatened, so you cannot take the e-pawn. So knight c3 probably. After bishop takes, then knight c3. Yeah, I don't know what happened to GreKo, but he's down to 5 minutes. And there is really only one move available. This is bishop takes d4. So either the engine is kind of disconnected, or I don't know what happened to the engine. Either something happened to the engine, or it really calculates that long for a simple recapture. I hope GreKo will recapture the knight soon. Yeah, now he captures the knight. Now we have knight c3 probably. But okay, 4 minutes to defend against the Evans Gambit is not something you want to do here. So Leela, chess 0, goes with knight c3. You cannot take the e-pawn. This is what GreKo probably realized at this moment. So moves are probably b6. Well, b6, I don't know. So knight d4 is threatened with a fork. Knight e7 maybe. Knight e7, bishop a3, d6, pawn takes d6, pawn takes d6, and knight to c, knight to b5, attacking the bishop. Bishop takes a1, knight takes c7 check. King, this is what I calculate right now. King Yeah, well, king to f8 is kind of difficult because then comes queen to b4, threatening mate on e7. The knight is pinned. Also, the rook is hanging, so probably king to d8, and then knight takes rook. Bishop takes e5. It's kind of a mess, this position. But let's see what GreKo is coming up with. GreKo is down to 2 minutes. Calculating what seems to be knight to e7. Yes, GreKo plays knight to e7. And now we have bishop a3, probably. I will play bishop a3. It looks kind of natural. It prevents white from castling. Because if black castles then the knight on e7 would hang. So we have bishop to a3. And now look at those bishops. They are really nice here. Here and here. Really nice bishops, which Leela has there. But now you can maybe remove the e5 pawn or play b6 to activate the bishop, and maybe well, castling queenside is also not so good. GreKo is down to 1.5 minutes and plays b6. We have rook a. Well, yeah, a lot of options. Leela is calculating rook a to d1, which would attack the bishop. After bishop takes e5, maybe rook e1. Having two very good centralized rooks, then probably bishop takes f6, c3. Bishop takes c3. No, not bishop takes c3 actually. You cannot take the c3 knight. You have to play bishop f6 or bishop d6, because otherwise the knight would hang with check. So this is not possible. So probably also taking the pawn is very, very risky. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, bishop b7 probably, yes. Down to 1 minute and 13 seconds. It's GreKo, and Leela has 13 minutes and 40 seconds. Leela thinks that she is better by 0.74, and GreKo thinks GreKo is better by minus 0.72. So I don't know. I would prefer the white position here. Those two bishops with the queen look awesome. Yeah, and now knight to d5. Which threatens a check here on c7, so probably knight takes, bishop takes. Yeah, but then you cannot castle. You cannot castle either side, because if you castle queen side after this exchange, then queen a8 would be mate. So the king has to stay in the center. And GreKo now thinks it's equal. Leela thinks she's winning. Yeah, Leela is probably winning here. c3, and now c6, and now either rook takes d4 or just a bishop retreat would be good, but rook takes d4 looks kind of good to my eyes. Black's king will stay in the center for the whole game, I think. And we have rook takes d4. GreKo thinks he is better again by minus 0.69. But Leela's attack is still continuing. Yeah, now c takes d5, you can play this immediately. And yeah, bishop to d6 is a nice move. I would play bishop to d6, then we have a really good bishop there, and black is never really able to castle. Well, maybe with bishop to c6, maybe it's safe to castle queenside, but I don't think it's safe. I wouldn't castle queenside. Would let the king in the center, which is kind of, yeah, necessary, but we have opposite colored bishops. A doubled isolated d-pawn for black, and black's king is still uncastled, so let's see. Leela is calculating, and let's see what Leela comes up with bishop to d6, of course. Human-like move. I would also play this move. Okay, kingside castling is out of question because, yeah, now rook c8. So Leela's king will stay in the center for the whole game. So what we have now, probably GreKo thinks he's winning. Minus 1.04. But okay, Leela has 10 minutes and 30 seconds. GreKo has only 38 seconds left. So, let's see. Let's see. I will play queen a4 to attack the a7 pawn, and after black pushes a5, or probably a6, because after a5 then queen to b4 is coming. Well, after a6, okay, we have queen a3. It's kind of the same idea, threatening the a7 pawn. Now a6, and then going back to b3, attacking the b7 pawn, and then b5. And then the bishop on b7 really looks silly. And I think white gained something from this. Queen back to b3. Or maybe b4. I don't know, something like this. I don't see the difference. Yeah, queen b4 probably. So you can play rook to g4, attacking the queen. So now Leela takes time. Leela played the opening very fast, and now Leela takes her time. Probably Leela knows what to do in the opening, because it played it against itself so often that she probably... Oh, okay, why queen b3? I thought queen b4 is better. But okay. Maybe not. Maybe f4, f5 will come. Yeah, b5, this is, of course, because the b6 pawn was attacked. So maybe f4 now. f4. Or a4 also looks quite nice. Because you cannot take because the bishop on b7 would be undefended. So a4. And how do you defend the pawn? Yeah, this bishop looks really silly on b7. So I don't believe in GreKo here. Leela thinks she's much better with 0.96. And GreKo thinks he's much better with minus 1.30. So let's see what Leela Chess 0 comes up with here. Maybe a4 or f4. I would prefer a4 because a4 seems to win a pawn for white. And this bishop will still be silly. A silly piece. Okay, now it defends the pawn here. Bishop c6. A takes b5. Bishop takes b5, attacking the rook. Yeah. A takes b5. Bishop takes b5. Rook to d1 probably. And after the bishop returns to c6, and this is not such a bad bishop anymore. Maybe a5 to keep the bishop locked in. But let's see. Let's see what Leela comes up with. I will play a5, probably. Or maybe a takes b, bishop takes b, and queen takes d4. Bishop takes f1. And the bishop returns, threatening mate. For example, the bishop returns, for example, to b4. Oh, we have a takes. Okay. So now the bishop really looks bad, and black's pawn structure is really messed up now. So so Leela made a good job there. Opposite colored bishops, so if everything exchanges, Leela would still have a draw, I think. So I think either Leela wins or it's a draw, because GreKo can never really castle, and GreKo is down to 7 seconds and to 8 seconds probably. GreKo is down to 8 seconds for, I think, another 2 moves. It's a very interesting game. Leela maybe what is Leela playing there? Rook f e1. Okay, what's the plan? F6, e6 cannot really be the plan. Rook ca8. No. Leela has time, I think. Maybe making some Luft for the king. h3, f4, probably. Well, f4 doesn't look that good anymore, because you cannot play f5 anymore. I would pass here. I have no plan what to do with white here. I would just, yeah. Leela has a reasonable position, I think, against GreKo. But GreKo's king is safe, I think. So what is Leela coming up with here? Leela is down to 2 minutes and 40 seconds, so let's see. I will probably play the move. No, this doesn't work because of the check of the mate threat. Well, it's not really a mate threat, but it's close. Yeah, I would make a waiting move. h3. But okay, I read it. Leela is also playing h3. Yeah. And we have h5. And the next move, GreKo will get some additional time. And now we can play rook e3. And now h4, stopping rook g3. But then rook g4 comes, so it doesn't really matter. And the king has an escape square. And h2. Okay, Leela is playing excellent chess here. Leela is really playing excellent chess. It doesn't rush things. I would already have sacrificed something and did something really bad. I think like rook takes d4 or something. But Leela just plays h3. Planning to go rook e3. And after h4 going rook to g4. And yeah, this is one check. You can go to h2. Nothing serious here. And now GreKo has some time to think, or to calculate rather, because it gets additional time. Still both engines think they are, well, Leela thinks it's around equal, a little bit better for white, and GreKo thinks it's much better. Oh, what? Leela plays the rook back. Oh, this is a commitment. This is a commitment that something gone wrong. Okay, I would have played... Yeah, but now... Yeah, rook takes, queen takes... Rook takes, queen takes... Okay, GreKo takes its time, plays rook h4. And now we have... Yeah, probably rook g3. But... I would still have... Well, after king h2, maybe queen b1 or rook b1 would have been a concern. So, okay, rook back to d1. But okay, if takes, queen takes, and the a file is open for white's queen to infiltrate, and this would be a mate if the queen somehow lands on c8 or b8. So, okay, we have now rook to g3. And where is the queen going? Probably to h6 or h7, just to keep protecting the g7 pawn. And then what to do? What to do? Probably to h6, so that after some move from white you can play h4 and the rook hasn't got the square g4 available. But okay, rook f3 would also be good, because, yeah, rook f3 would also work because d4 is never quite working, because queen takes f7 would come then. Let's see what GreKo comes up with. Yeah, queen h6. You know what to do. What to play here with white. Bishop b4. That's interesting. What's the plan with bishop to b4? Maybe bishop to d2, attacking the rook, attacking the queen, sorry. Queen f4. Bishop to d6 back, okay. So Leela has no idea what to do in this position. And I think black is slightly making progress here. Black's king is still in the center, but okay, I was questioning the move bishop to b4 because I really didn't see what to do, but okay. Leela is still down 2 pawns. Leela thinks the position is equal. GreKo thinks it's better for black, so... And I somehow start to believe that it's really better for black. Now rook to g8, defending the pawn, maybe try pushing with g4, g5. I would sacrifice the rook now. Rook takes d5, bishop takes d5, and queen takes b5, which would threaten the bishop, the rook, and the mate. So black would have to play rook a8 to prevent the mate, but then comes queen takes bishop, and you have 2 pawns. You want 2 pawns. You're equal in material, and black's king is still unsafe. Okay, attacking the queen. But what to play after queen e4? That's the question. I would have sacrificed and gone for the attack. Because this rook move I would still have rook e3. Again attacking the queen. Now queen c4, probably trying to exchange queens. And with these 2 connected pawns, if white cannot take the queen. Queen c4, but if the queen has to retreat, well, maybe queen b1 to h7, attacking the rook. So maybe queen b1. Well, queen b1 is the only reasonable square for the queen. But let's see. Yeah, queen b1. And now you have to do something against queen h7, so either the rook back or g6. Yeah, g6 also stops queen f4, f5. So probably queen g6. And now rook c1 attacking the queen. Oh, that's nice. If the queen moves, you have queen takes b5. And if bishop takes, then you have rook c8 mate. So there are some chances still for white. The queen has to leave the the queen has to leave the protection of the b5 pawn, so then queen takes b5 would be a threat. Queen f4 and queen takes b5. I would play queen takes b5. Yeah, sure, queen takes b5 must be good. Queen takes b5 must be good. Do I miss something? Queen takes b5. After 4, yeah, queen f4 is the only square, so... Or queen h4. But queen h4 is... Yeah, well, queen h4 actually... You have to play queen h4 so that queen takes b5 doesn't work. So... Because now, after queen takes b5, bishop takes b5, rook c8 check, you have the move queen to d8. So queen h4 was necessary. And what now? You have provoked g6. And now rook takes is a threat. Rook takes b5 is a threat. Rook c4 probably. This is very tactical because yeah, rook c4. Rook c4 is the only good move for black. Now you shouldn't really exchange and open up the bishop. You should play the rook somewhere. Okay, white still has compensation because for the 2 pawns, because the king is still in the center. Black has to take care of this always, and this rook is still on a closed file. Maybe in the future g5 will come, but I don't know. Here maybe rook c. Yeah, you cannot really exchange it because after rook takes c4, then d takes c4, and then you have 2 connected pass pawns and a very strong bishop. So yeah, is there some sacrificial ideas with e6? I don't see that. No, I don't see it. I don't quite see it. So okay, queen d8. Now rook f3. Or rook e3. I don't know. Whichever is better. Very interesting position here. Yeah, but Leela, both engines don't really know what to do here. Leela has 3 minutes and 20 seconds left, and GreKo has 30 seconds left, and it's GreKo's move, king h2. There's still a d4. I don't know. I really cannot. Yeah, d4. Opening up the bishop. Maybe queen g4 is an idea to threaten mate. Also taking away the f3 square for the rook. I will play rook a3 or something. Leela calculates something with rook takes b5. What? Rook takes b5, bishop. Rook takes b5. Okay, now this is interesting. I don't get this, but okay, let's see. Bishop takes b5. Both engines now think they are winning. This is now, yeah, very good. And now queen takes b5, attacking the rook. Queen takes b5, attacking the rook. You sure have to play this. Queen takes b5, attacking the rook. Where is the rook going? Rook goes to c6, okay. And now what's the plan? queen d5, but what's the threat after queen d5? Yeah, okay, you threaten the pawn, but this you could have done much earlier. So there were some tactics with rook takes b5. I don't believe in the sacrifice, and I really think that GreKo has some chances there. Ah, well, but with this strong bishop here, I don't think GreKo can win this either. Okay, 1 minute and 10 seconds for Leela, 7 seconds or 8 seconds again for GreKo. Okay, queen to d3 was chosen. Queen h4. This came immediately, and now queen f3 is the plan from Leela. Queen f3 maybe threatens e6, because after e6, pawn takes e6, rook takes e6, check, pawn takes e6, and then the rook would hang. Okay, rook c8, rook a4. Okay, this gets back at least the pawn. That's good. Both engines have to play very fast here. Okay, where is the queen going? I think GreKo is kind of planless, but GreKo can't do much in this position. And GreKo now thinks it's equal, and Leela thinks she's better. So this rook sacrifice, maybe a positional rook sacrifice. Yeah, Leela is a very good positional player and stuff. I didn't get it, this rook sacrifice, but it's kind of great. If Leela wins this, and it's kind of great. Okay, this rook here is doing nothing for the whole game, so probably Leela is up a piece. So, because this bishop really dominates this rook, and all the king side, there is really nothing to do. And yeah, what can you do there? I had a crazy idea by playing queen f6, that this is not a mate. No, it doesn't work. Queen f6 would have been a good move if it would have been mate, but it isn't. So with the idea queen takes queen and pawn takes queen, check, mate, but it's not a mate because the king has the square on d8. So rook c6, probably. Yes, rook c6. Now what to do? Rook a4. Another king on h2 looks really good, because there are no more checks on the back rank. But rook a4, I don't really get this move. I would have played either rook to f4 or rook to b4. But okay, whatever. Maybe now rook f4, because GreKo cannot do anything in this position. This is so great. And now rook g7, probably to defend the f pawn. You have to defend the f pawn. And now rook e4 maybe, or queen a3. Why queen a3? What's the plan? Rook to a8, queen b4. Leela now thinks queen b2. Now e6 is threatened. g5. Rook f5. Okay. h4. Yeah, GreKo is down to 1 to 3 seconds. Now g4. GreKo has to play immediately, and now GreKo is thinking that he is lost. Okay. GreKo is now also thinking he is lost. Now GreKo thinks it's even again. Okay. Queen here. Rook h5. Rook takes h5. Pawn takes h5, and how? Check. And now GreKo resigned the game because there is no stopping of the h-pawn. Here, let's see the last position here on the board. It was a very interesting game, and here the last position of the on the board here. GreKo resigned the game because of here after king takes d8 you have h6 on the board, and this pawn is marching through. King c8, and now queen, and it's all over. This is awesome. This is really awesome. Queen takes d8 and GreKo resigned. GreKo was down to a couple of seconds, but okay, this rook sacrifice here in this position, rook takes b5. I wonder if this is correct. Let's see. Let's ask Komodo. No, let's ask Stockfish if this sacrifice is correct and good. Stockfish 9. Let's put this on Stockfish 9. Okay, Stockfish 9. Rook takes b5 is the second. Oh, now it's the first choice, and it's really better for white. f3 or rook takes b5 is recommended. And before, okay, let's check this with Stockfish. We have the Evans Gambit. He takes d4, queen b3, queen f6, castles, e5, queen g6, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop takes, bishop c3. And now knight here, bishop a3, b6, rook 81, bishop b7, knight d5. This is all. Leela is here much better. Okay, here just retreat the bishop to f3, Stockfish says, and white is winning. Bishop takes e5 and rook e8. And after f6, move queen a4. With the threat of bishop to d6. Okay, why can't you play bishop to d6 immediately? New variation. King d8. Bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes. Rook here, bishop here. And now the rook sacrifice. With this check, 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 check. This is a draw. Okay. Then queen a4, h5. Bishop to e4, attacking the queen. Queen g5. Bishop c1, attacking the queen again. And now f4. And if the bishop moves, then you have this amazing bishop f3 or bishop f5 move, which wins the queen. So you kind of win a piece here, which is great. Okay, this is Leela missed. Leela captured the bishop. Leela is still better here, but it's kind of equal. C takes d5 and bishop to d6. Now we have rook c8, and it's around equal, this position. Here a4. Leela is better again. We have rook here, rook to a8, h3. Leela is not the tactical monster like the other chess engines, strong chess engines, but it's a really, positionally it's really very good. We have here h5, here now this check, rook comes back, attacking the queen, and now some hovering around, attacking the queen, and now threatening queen h7, so g6. Now queen h4, because everything else loses. If you go to f4, then Leela would have this amazing queen takes b5 with the mate threat, and if you take here, then this is mate. So queen h4 is kind of the only move. That's after this kind of thing which I showed you before. Rook c8, you have this queen d8 move, and now black is winning. Black is up a whole rook and also a pawn, so this is winning. So queen so rook b3, now renewing the threat of taking on b5. So the only move is rook c4, probably a queen e4. Also queen e4. What does queen e4 make? Queen e4. Rook takes b5. Queen takes b1. Okay. Exchanging queens. Okay. This is also an option. But we have rook c4. Now rook e1. And the queen goes back to d8, king goes to h2. Yeah, Stockfish doesn't really like this move, but I don't think Stockfish really understands this move. In the future, the king will be very safe and secure on h2. It's a very positional move, like going out of every back rank checks and stuff in the future. And now, as the longer Stockfish calculates, the better white's position gets. But we have here d4, and this is a mistake. Or, well, it's not a mistake really. It's just not the best move. The best move would be queen g5, and now again rook takes b5. So Okay, d4, rook takes b5, bishop takes b5, queen takes b5, rook c6 and queen d3. Yeah, it's a sound sacrifice, and Stockfish says now that Leela chess 0 is winning, in fact, and after queen h4, which is a bad move, queen a8 would be better, but this also loses terrible. As long as... Okay, let Stockfish calculate a little bit. Okay, Stockfish is at 1.80 or 1.40 or something. Yeah, this is much better for white. We have queen h4. This is losing, in fact. We have queen f3. Rook back to c8. Rook e4 attacking the queen. Queen goes all the way back to d8. Now we have rook takes d4. Rook to c6. Black can't do anything. That's the problem here. We have rook e4. Rook c8. Rook f4. White has all the time in the world. Could have... Yeah, rook a4 is in fact the best move here. And now rook f4. Yeah, this is great. Defending, and now queen b3 is the second choice of Stockfish. Okay. And now queen b2, threatening e6, on g5, rook here. Yeah, this is not dead lost. Takes f3. Check. And here he resigned because it's a mate in 30. But okay, you cannot stop the pawn. Very nice game from Leela. GreKo basically had absolutely no chance. Couldn't do anything the whole game. And after this brilliant exchange sacrifice from Leela, the game was basically over. But there was a position of interest which interested me, namely here. Wait, check. Yeah, here. Is there not something like rook takes here? Rook a1 check. Okay, king h2 and h4. Okay, you cannot move the rook because then it's mate. Okay, that's not good. Because my idea was after bishop takes, new variation, then queen takes d5. And this would be in fact better for white, but okay. It was a great game. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Ciao.